I want the people of America to be able to work less for the government and more for themselves.
It's a wonderful time to be alive. Let us be shy no longer.
Mercury,
Radio, art.
The gay marriage bigots, and I do use that word correctly, the gay marriage bigots are out against Rick Santorum. Wait until you hear the audio next.
We'll be the king, we will be the king, we will be. We will be, we will be, we will be.
Things are going back in a very healthy
We
direction.
will be,
Entertainment, enlightenment.
we will.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Look up the definition of bigot. The definition of bigot is somebody that won't listen to anybody else's side because of their point of view. Just won't even listen to it. They try to shut down everybody else's point of view. Well, I don't care. If you want to, sleep with your boyfriend and you're a guy, you want to sleep with your girlfriend, that's up to you. You don't destroy marriage to do it. You want to get married in a civil union? I'm fine. I have exactly the same opinion on gay marriage that President Obama has. Exactly. Unless he's lying. But the bigots are out now. The people who you cannot tolerate somebody else's point of view. See, I can tolerate your point of view. You have a different point of view? That's fine. Totally cool. Will you tolerate my point of view? If you won't tolerate someone else's point of view, then you are a bigot. Now, I just want to play this audio because what Rick Santorum is saying here is right. You cannot change one variable of a math problem and say, oh, well, we can change the 1, 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can change the 1, 2 here. But we can't change the second 2. Well, wait a minute, what? Why not? If we're going to change the equation, why not change it? The equation is 1 guy, 1 woman equals marriage. That's the equation. 1 plus 1, 1 guy plus 1 woman equals marriage. Now, let's change the second variable. 1 guy, change the second variable, plus 1 guy equals marriage. 1 woman plus 1 woman equals marriage. Okay, well, how about we change the other variable? 2 guys plus 1 woman equals marriage. 1 guy plus 3 women equal marriage. You can't do that. Well, why not? You're changing the variables. Why can't I change the variables? You can't do it, you bigot. You can't do it. Once you change one variable, because you're now asking people to say, oh, you have moral certitude on the one variable. Well, wait a minute. What? You have moral certitude. Well, my opinion is I have moral certitude the other direction. You can't change the variables. Well, you're wrong. Well, no, wait a minute. What are you basing that on? Your feeling? Yes, I have moral certitude. Well, there's a lot of people that had moral certitude. Stalin had moral certitude that it was okay to kill 65 million people.
Glenn Beck compares gay marriage to killing 65 million people.
Yeah, well, if that's what you want to hear, you're a moron.
If that's the media, yes.
Yeah, but that's fine. If that's what the game they want to play, if we can have an adult conversation here.
Well, obviously, you can't have a adult
well, I don't really care.
on this.
I don't even really care.
No, I know.
I'm having a conversation with adults. If you really think that moral certitude, your moral certitude, my moral certitude, anybody else's moral certitude is the way we run our country, well, you're mistaken.
Your laws have to be based
In something. Not your moral certitude.
And if you're going to change that something, you must rewrite the Constitution.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to. Here's the thing. Our laws are based in Judeo-Christian values and laws. That's the way it's set up. Now, you don't like that. That's fine. then change the Constitution, because you cannot pick and choose. Your moral certitude, look, and I am not comparing little third graders, but there once was a guy that decided to kill 11 million people. He had moral certitude that it was okay to kill certain groups of people, homosexuals among them. He thought it was okay to kill them. Well, you know and I know that's wrong. What do you base that on? He based it on his moral certitude. I know thou shalt not kill. Now, if you don't know that, if he didn't know thou shalt not kill applies to everybody, including homosexuals and Jews and everybody else, if he didn't know that, if your laws were based on Judeo-Christian values, you could go to him and say, look, I know you don't think so, crazy boy, but the law says thou shalt not kill. There's the law. And if you want to be really specific, thou shalt not murder. You can't do it. So, if you want to change the law, you have to base it on something else. I don't care. You want to base it on, Steve's Big Book of Furry Deers. And you take all the laws and you base them on the Furry Deer Law Book.
I love that
by
book.
Steve.
That's great. He's a great author.
Or, Ron's Big Book of Cupcakes.
Ron is great. Those cupcakes are delicious.
Or Ron's big book of cupcakes and Steve's big book of deers, so you have deer cupcakes. If that's where you want to base your law there. But you have to change the Constitution to do it. So we can always go back and say, no. Ron and Steve say deer cupcakes are made this way. Our laws were based on God's laws. If you don't like that, fine. That's totally cool. But you must change the Constitution to be able to change the formula. You have to do it. Stu's looking at me confused.
I don't think you'd have to. Would you have to change the Constitution to change the marriage law?
We are based on Judeo-Christian laws.
So what do you base it? Why would they want to pass a constitutional amendment on marriage? They wouldn't need to if you had to change the Constitution to.
Yeah, I think they're personally. I think they're wrong. Personally, I think I think what's happening here is we are not paying attention to the overarching. We're looking at progressive fixes. Oh, put a constitutional amendment. No. What are we based on?
And what Glenn started this with was changing one part of the equation. So if you're going to do that, and that's what they want to do, they want to change just one part of the equation. Well, you can't do that because that's not what our society is based on.
You are going to have. Look, I'm LDS. Now there's these reformed crazy people that dress up in 1800s outfits and
trendy.
Live on. Yeah, it's very trendy. Okay. I don't like those guys. I think they're freaks, and they are not part of my religion. They claim to be part of my religion. They've got, they'll marry, 400 people. Whatever. Hey, everybody's got a wife as long as you're me. Okay, excuse me? That's not marriage. You can't do that. Now, change the laws. You want to do that? Great. Change the laws. What are we basing here? What are we doing? You can't tell me that you can go one man equals marriage. And, Jebediah isn't going to come out and say, hey, wait a minute. I have absolutely a right to have one man, 4 women to be a marriage because you're changing that part. And the homosexual community will say, well, you can't do that because that's what they're arguing with Wicks and Torrin now. That's ridiculous. Really? One man was ridiculous 30 years ago. Why is it ridiculous now? All you have to do, we've learned, is grab Hollywood. All I have to do is grab, what is it, Big Love?
Yeah.
Is that pro multiple marriage?
No, I wouldn't say it is. It's more anti. I haven't seen a lot of it, but my impression.
Any of it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All you have to do is convince the people and make them give them moral certitude that it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it from the base point. The idea is that my values are different than yours, and you should be including me. This is from the argument on the left. You should be including me in this institution.
I'm for civil marriage.
Yeah, no, I know, but
you
I'm just
have
saying.
all the
I'm
rights
just saying,
to civil marriage. That's fine. You are not. You cannot take. My solution is take government out of marriage entirely. What is government doing in marriage? You want to do that? Fine, whatever. But you cannot change the law. You can't change one part of the equation without the other part of the equation. Make the argument, Stu. Make the argument that I can't marry 4 people. You just said
no, but I think if you're making the argument for gay marriage, and this is the thing I was trying to say is like the left comes at this and says, well, my values say that this should be included in marriage, and so the right says, well, wait a minute, then that's going to also include this other choice, which is consenting adults doing something differently than you, but something else. And the left gets so offended by that, even the mention of that, but even the mention of someone else's values,
bigots.
right?
Because they're bigots.
It's insult. You can't even bring up that comparison because what we're saying is not that those are equal choices. We're just saying that they're another moral choice of your own. You're saying that
moral certitude.
Right.
There are people that
values.
will have moral certitude that 1 + 4 equals marriage.
Right.
So who are you to judge them? You can't say it.
You have to open it up to other consenting adult choices. Right. And the whole point is this is consenting adults. You have to open it up to that.
Who are you to tell me that I can't be married to 4 people? I believe it's right. I'm a consenting adult, and these 3 women are consenting adults. Now, if you're getting involved with underage men, women,
right,
whatever, that's totally different. I'm talking about, 3 30-year-olds decide to marry one 65-year-old guy.
Yeah. It's like if you're on the left and you want to argue for gay marriage, whatever, that's fine. But have the balls to also argue for this.
Yeah.
You should have the balls to stand up and say it's another moral choice between consenting adults.
You're changing the equation. You can't then become bigoted on somebody else's.
It's insane.
Right. And this is what Rick Santorum was saying yesterday, and listen to the bigots in the audience.
That all men are created equal and the rights to happiness and
they don't have a right. Nobody has a right to happiness.
You have the right to pursue happiness.
Yes.
We're not going to give it to you.
Right. Nobody has a right to happiness. That's not one of the rights you were endowed by your creator. The pursuit of happiness. You have it. I have it. All of us have it.
But these students have clearly, they've clearly bought in all the way.
Okay, so are we saying that everyone should have the right to marry? Everyone. Okay, so anyone can marry anybody else. Okay, so anybody can marry anybody else. So anybody can marry several people. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Stop. No, this is not participatory. We're not going to do this. Okay? I'm going to ask the question. If people want to respond, I'll be happy to call on you. So I'm just pausing some things you need to think about. So if everybody has the right to be happy, so if you're not happy unless you're married to 5 other people, is that okay? Whoa. I'm asking her. Is that okay? Well, no, I'm asking the question.
She says, I'm not
asking about that. I know. I am, because you've just changed the equation. So I'm changing it again.
Right. Look.
We're telling you, they don't understand that his problem is...
They do understand.
I don't think these kids do. They're just students. They don't get it.
Oh, they're just students.
They've been indoctrinated.
We're spending more in a year on education in many cases than I made in an entire year for most of my life.
But I know how the school system indoctrinates. My goodness.
Let's take the responsibility away from the individual.
Well,
I know
I'll just tell you this. In 1 year, when my daughter started going to high school, because we homeschool, and then we started with allowing them the opportunity to go to high school for extracurricular activities if they wanted to. We don't do that anymore. So she chose to go to high school to get involved in other things, and within a year, she was completely away from the things we taught her about morality.
And almost
Right
every
here.
conservative I know now as an adult was not a conservative during high school and college, because it takes time for you to actually examine the real world when you're in that bubble of those schools. I mean, you don't even consider. I mean, they boo Rick Santorum for asking that question.
Yeah.
They boo him just for the conversation.
You know why? In an open society, really? In an academic setting with people who are supposed to be so open-minded, you're booing for asking the question, oh, that's ridiculous that there are people that want to have more than one partner. Really? Really? What about bisexuals? What about bisexuals? What about somebody who says, I'm a guy and I want to be married to a woman and a man because sometimes I want this, sometimes I want that. What? What's the problem with that?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't. That's probably not the...
A little too specific.
Yes.
Well, almond
Thank
joys
you.
have nuts.
All right.
No, I know.
Mounds don't.
Here we go. Well, our sponsor this half hour, it is...
Glenn Beck.
You know, the amazing thing is they're killing Rick Santorum on having a debate on differing opinions. Differing opinions. Who are you to say what's right and wrong based on what you believe is right or wrong? Who are you to say? Because we're all supposed to respect diversity, right? So shouldn't you respect somebody else's opinion? Or is it just the opinion that you have, which makes you a bigot? Let's not talk about gay marriage, because I hold exactly the same position as Barack Obama, unless he's lying. Now, let's talk about this. My position is government shouldn't be in marriage at all. Government shouldn't be in marriage.
Then I'd lose my tax deduction.
Well, you didn't get married for tax deductions.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've held it together for 30 years so I can hang on to those deductions. I get hit hard.
Really?
If I'm single, filing
I thought
by
you guys
myself
loved each other.
individually. No, I can't stand her. I can barely stand to look at her.
Really?
Yeah.
30 years?
I hold it together solely for the tax deduction.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Had kids.
You know,
okay,
17 so you're not going to be happy with
just
this.
for the deduction.
You really?
Yes.
Okay, because you're not going to like this then. But Stu, maybe I can make this point to you. If the government gets out of it, then the tax code is all screwed up.
Yeah,
You have to completely scrap the tax code and start all over again.
They have to. I mean, gosh, can you imagine that change? How much they'd have to simplify it?
Oh, yeah.
No, we'd have to simplify the tax code. You know what? How much? I mean, seriously, what percentage of the value of your marriage do you get from the state recognizing it? I can tell you what mine is 0%. I don't want the government anywhere near my marriage. Go away. You screw everything else up that you're involved in. Go away.
And they've screwed marriage up.
Yeah, well,
They have screwed marriage
You can
up.
enforce the contract that I have with my wife. And you know what? My church and will recognize it, and my wife will recognize it. That's what I need. I don't need the state. I don't want them. I don't want the state. Get away.
What an extremist.
Glenn Beck.
Mercury.